Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. We post an interview with an amazing Canadian each weekday for your daily inspiration. Today, I would like to introduce you to my friend, Gerry Chipeur. Gerry was born in Walla Walla, Washington. I love saying that. Gerry's Canadian father had just started his career as a high school science teacher. His American mother had just graduated as a registered nurse after completing her practicum in Portland, Oregon. Gerry tells me that his beautiful wife, Barbara, retired from the practice of dentistry to devote herself full time to the game of golf. His oldest daughter is completing her doctorate in civil law, and his youngest is completing her master's degree in fine arts with a focus on sculpture. What a powerhouse family. Besides his loved ones, Gerry's greatest passion has been in public service. From 1979 in the Sherwood Park Nursing Home as a dishwasher to now being the chair of that same nursing home. What a story. He's also been passionate about volunteering to help new immigrants, university students, those in need of a home, and those requiring health care. He is also volunteering with the School of Public Policy at the University of Calgary Advisory Committee and the Calgary Homeless Foundation. Such a good human. Friend, you'll find his full bio attached. Gerry, thank you so much for joining us today.
My great pleasure. It's good to be with you.
Thank you. Are you ready for the questions we sent you?
I am.
Awesome. Okay. What has been your greatest challenge in the last few months?
Well, I would say that my greatest challenge has not been professional. The supports and the clients that we have been wonderful, and we've been able to manage through the being distant, yet being close, and trying to continue to get work done. So I haven't been that concerned about that issue. But through the changes in life, some of the biggest challenges have been in terms of getting through some of the health issues that my family's had. My daughter is in a wheelchair, and so she has moved back to Calgary from Montreal after working on her doctorate at McGill University. And so getting her moved in all by herself, even though she is a quadriplegic, she is absolutely on her own and able to work in a new condo. And in fact, one of the things she said to me was, COVID-19, when people ask me, has this changed my life? She says, hasn't changed it at all. She says, welcome to my world, because for her, being online and doing things by video and doing things electronically have become, over the last 4 or 5 years as she's worked on her doctorate there, has been her life. And so we now are living in exactly that same kind of thing, where some of us are staying in one place, staying at home, yet getting work done. So she plans to become a professor at a law school in Canada, maybe even the University of Calgary, who knows. And from there, working from home where she is, not a problem. Although I can say that Calgary is such a wonderfully accessible city, probably the best in Canada, that she would have no problem on her own in a wheelchair going from her home all the way to the law school through public transit. And it's an excellent city. There's not a lot of cities in Canada that could offer that kind of situation. And the other health issue that is now just an issue for me is that my wife, unfortunately, had to get a new hip. So she had to quit golf, her passion. And so for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've been nurse in addition to being lawyer, and she's kind of like Joe Biden, staying in the basement for the last 4 weeks. And so it's been great fun, as I have been, I've had the opportunity to spend a lot more time with my family than I ever anticipated I would. I thought I'd be flying around the world 1,000 miles this year, and in fact all 100,000 miles have been right at home with family, and it's been wonderful. It's been a great opportunity. I would not have guessed it, maybe not even have chosen it, but it has been my year so far.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, and so glad to hear that your daughter has been able to accomplish that as a paraplegic. Sorry, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. And the three things that you'd like to share with us today.
Uh, well, the first would be that I do believe that the current environment of hyper politicization is not healthy or sustainable. And the one thing that I have come to a strong opinion on is that we need to step back and ask ourselves whether or not politics makes up 99% of our existence, or maybe only 1%. And I think we will conclude that it's 1%. So let's not judge each other based on each other's politics. Let's not even consider each other's politics. Let's just step away from that. And I think that we will have a much more enjoyable life if we can just put politics, big government is evil because government uses force. And so since government is an evil, but necessary evil, and we have to accept that, let's keep it very small in case it gets out of hand and we have to kill it. So that is my recommendation on politics. If politics starts to take on a bigger role in your life than it should, then just kind of put it back in a box. And if you have to kill it and walk away from politics for a while, I remember back in the 80s, I was disillusioned with politics and I walked away from politics for a year. Didn't have anything to do with it, didn't like it. Of course, now I'm back in full time and I love it. And I'm happy to, accept the victories that we can make in public policy, and we can and do the things that can be done. As they say, politics is the art of the possible. So I'm comfortable with that right now. But if you're not comfortable, better to just leave it alone and not get frustrated, not think that the world is going to end simply because one group of people vote one way or the other in an election that is seemingly very important. And I don't disagree with any of the speeches that politicians make, but I do keep them in a box, kind of like a lawyer leaving their cases at work. Leave your politics wherever it should be. When you're at home or with friends, try to find something else to talk about other than the fact that somebody is making you very mad and angry and you want to post about it on Facebook.
That's great advice. Thank you, Gerry.
Well, you're welcome.
Your second thing?
You want me to now give you a second. The second is, and this is more philosophical, I've always said you are what you want to become. And I think the story of my daughter is an example of that. She always wanted to be a professor of law. That was her goal. And so even though life threw all kinds of things at her, she still completed the LLB, practiced a little bit. Then while she was in her master's program, had the accident with the moose in New Brunswick. And that's maybe a third of it. If you're ever in the Maritimes, do not drive at night. Don't even get close to sundown. Just stop where you are because the moose are everywhere. But the bottom line is you are what you want to become. If you want to become something, I'm satisfied based on my short observation of history in my own life and the life of my family that it is worth the effort. And if you stay focused, you will achieve your objectives. So it's a kind of a positive, but more of a philosophical statement. And my third point is I'm the Honorary Consul for Korea. And as the Honorary Consul for Korea, and you heard me say this when we spoke a few weeks ago, I believe that Canada and Korea are the perfect partner because they are, as they say, the yin and yang. There is everything that Canada doesn't have in Korea, and everything Korea doesn't have is in Canada. Canada has so many resources and so much to offer in every area, whether it's our education system, whether it's our natural resources, whether it's our people. There is no doubt that Korea can be our base of exposure to all of Asia. And Asia has been the place where Korea has been located for the last several millennia. And it's been very successful as a very tiny country, surviving and thriving next to some big giants. And Canada's had some very big problems with one of those giants, China, recently. I know that today they stopped negotiations on a trade deal. So Canada seems to not be able to understand or to address the issues that China presents for them. I'm convinced that Korea can be the way through which Canada does not only address those issues, but is successful both economically and culturally in making connections and being successful in our relationships in Asia. I'm a big fan of Korea as their honorary consul in Alberta. I know that they want to do business here. And I just encourage everyone, both in Canada and in Korea, to redouble your efforts to make that business connection, because I'm absolutely convinced that there is so much more that we can do, and it will be of huge benefit to both groups of people.
I love it. When I first heard you say that a few weeks ago, I thought, oh, what a perfect idea. I certainly hadn't thought of it. I love it. Thank you, Gerry. And your good news legacy story, or something you'd like to close with?
Well, there is no doubt in my mind that this will pass. The current crisis will pass. I encourage individuals to think positively. If my daughter can get past an injury that makes it impossible for her to walk, then nothing that COVID passes, and I realize that there's lots of things to talk about in terms of COVID, but let me just share with you one piece of information which really I think highlights how we need to keep this issue in perspective. I'm the chair of Sherwood Park Nursing Home, the Sherwood Care is its name. Sherwood Care has, over the last number of years, had a certain level of deaths from individuals that live with us and our residents on our home. This year, the death rate is down 50%. And you would say, and we've had no COVID cases. Now, why is that? It's because the hygiene and the safety precautions that we've taken have been worthwhile. So it tells me that it's not just COVID-19 that's out there killing people. There's 100 different diseases that we transmit to each other every day, and we kill each other with those. I mean, we aren't responsible, but our bodies, by interacting with others, do in fact cause this kind of disease and death to be transmitted. So if that's the case, then let's keep this in context. Maybe what we need to take from this is that we need to be safe all the way around and be more conscious of hygiene. But the last thing we need to do is start to destroy relationships because we want to have a fight about a mask or a fight about whether we have school open or closed. Let's find ways to continue to grow our economy, grow our system, make sure our children are educated without putting them at risk from a health perspective. And I'm satisfied that we can come out of this and learn things that will benefit all of us, but we have to stop fighting about how we respond. Let's just encourage each other and support each other as we all try to make the best decisions for each other with respect to health and safety in this time of this pandemic.
I love it. Wow. Always been such a critical thinker, Gerry. Thank you so much for sharing that too. I appreciate your time today. I know you're super busy. I'm so grateful for your words of wisdom for all of us, for our audience, and I appreciate all the things you do.
Thank you, and thank you for the time. Look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, Gerry.
Bye.
Everyone, that was Gerry Chipeur. Please check out all the great work that he's doing, and wow, great ideas. Please spread the word. Thank you again for joining us today on Cat's Track. Please like, share, and subscribe, and share it with your friends. Enjoy the day, and talk soon.